Hi, I'm going to discuss with you easy conversation topic 16, extreme weather. Extreme weather. So first we're going to read the words and then talk about them, okay? So we're going to read the words left to right, okay? So word number one is extreme, and then flood, and then snowflake, hurricane, typhoon, cyclone, disaster, drought, famine, drizzle, humid, muggy, foggy, frost, and forecast. Okay, forecast. So extreme, flood, snowflake, hurricane, typhoon, cyclone, disaster, drought, famine, drizzle, humid, muggy, foggy, frost, and forecast. So you need to know all 15 words, okay, to do these questions, do the questions. And you'll need to know them for the test also, okay? Okay, so extreme means like something is too much, okay? If you get this one wrong and then teacher's very angry and I discipline you and I say, oh, you got this one wrong, write it 1,000 times. That's very extreme, okay? 1,000 times for one mistake is an awful lot. Maybe I'll say to you, please write this 3 times. This is not so extreme, okay? If there's a country and it's a very hot country and it's 50 degrees, we'll say this is extreme heat. Okay, 50 degrees is really, really, really hot, like 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so that's really, really hot. This would be extreme weather. Extreme weather. Okay, flood. Flood can be a verb. You say the river flooded the town. Okay, or it can be a noun, like last year's flood was terrible. Last year's flood, okay? So this can be flood. We also use flood for emotions. Like, you know, if you show me a picture right now of my dog died many years ago, it was like, emotions flooded over Daryl, okay? So like emotions came over me and stuff like that. So this is a little bit abstract meaning, but that's what we say with flood, okay? Snowflake, one snowflake. That's one snowflake, okay? Hurricane. Now, hurricane and typhoon and cyclone are really the same thing, okay? Hurricane happens more closer to America and Canada, like in the Atlantic Ocean. The typhoons happen more in East Asia, like Japan has a bad typhoon or China has a bad typhoon. A cyclone happens more in the Indian Ocean. So a cyclone is going to be like hitting Sri Lanka or India or Bangladesh or Pakistan, like that. But really, they're all the same thing, like a big storm that lasts like 7 or 8 days. Okay. Disaster. A disaster is a terrible, terrible something. Okay. So you know, if a boat goes into the water and sinks and everyone dies, like the Titanic, that's a huge disaster. If one train or another train hit, that's a disaster, okay? If you don't do your homework, for me, that's not a disaster, but I'm not happy, okay? But a disaster is like a big, huge thing, you know? Like if someone has a car accident and loses their job in the same week, we'll say that's a disaster. That's a really difficult thing to happen, okay? Disaster. A drought. A drought here is kind of opposite of flood here, okay? So a drought is a long time with no rain. So California has had some bad droughts. Some countries in Africa, like Ethiopia, has had a bad drought. And then there's no food, right? So if there's no rain for a long time, farmers can't grow food anymore. And then a country will have a famine. A famine, okay? So before we talked about the word famished. So if you're hungry or starving or famished is like super hungry. That's for one person, like I'm famished. But a famine is usually for a country. So we say North Korea has a famine. It means that they have no food and everyone's hungry. People are eating like trees and stuff. Okay, very terrible. Many of these are not happy words. Sorry. Drizzle. Drizzle means small rain. Okay, just like rain, it can be a verb and a noun. And snow is a verb and a noun. So you can say, it's drizzling outside. Or you say, oh, the drizzle is coming down. So verb and noun. Verb and noun, okay? It's drizzling. Humid. Humid, if you just say it's humid, it means that it's hot and the air is wet. Okay? So it's like, ugh, I don't like humid weather like that. Okay? If you use the word humidity, which is the noun, humidity doesn't mean that it's wet air. You can say the humidity there is very dry. It means that there's no water in the air. Australia is a place with low humidity. But like maybe Thailand or India is a place with high humidity. Okay, this is a place that's hot and wet. We say high humidity. Okay, now those places we can say are muggy. The weather is so muggy like this. Okay, it just means like you want to take a shower like 4 times in a day because you're sweating and it's not a very fun place. That's muggy weather. Foggy. Foggy is when the water from the ground comes in the air. And when you're driving, you have to drive a little slow, okay? Because there's fog. Okay, so a place with fog is foggy. A place with clouds is cloudy. A place with sun is sunny. Okay, so fog and foggy. Frost. Frost is when the air is really cold and then the ground will become white. Not because of snow, but because just is so cold and stuff like that. So the grass, all the grass will look white because there's like ice on it and stuff like that. Okay, and then the last one is forecast. Forecast, right there. It can be a verb and a noun. It's a weather forecast. You can watch the news, and after they talk about all the bad things and the wars, then they'll say, oh, and now it's time for weather. And the person will give you a forecast. They'll say, oh, on Tuesday, sunny. On Wednesday, rainy. On Thursday, sunny. On Friday, snow. That's a weird week. On Saturday, typhoon. Anyways, this would be a forecast. This would be a forecast. Okay, probably a bad one. So, anyways, know all these words. Get ready for the test. Answer all the questions. Goodbye.